Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Today is Friday, May 24th, getting ready to head into the weekend. So let's take a look and see what is in store for you for Friday. We'll take a look at the energy for the collective in general, then take a look at what are the challenges that each of the individual sign groupings are facing, and then pull some oracle cards as well. So hope everybody is wrapping up a good month of May, and for those of you in United States, getting ready for a long weekend for Memorial Day weekend. Let's see what all we've got going on today. All right, we have our Three of Pentacles, we have the Magician in reverse, and then we have the Six of Swords in reverse. So our Three of Pentacles energy, this is that kind of like collaboration and teamwork. On the twin flame journey, a lot of times this is also about coming into union, the divine masculine and divine feminine coming into union, because and on mission. So specifically on mission. So one of the pentacles is divine feminine, then divine masculine, and then spirit coming in to keep them on union. So that's, or not on union, I keep saying that, keeping them like on mission. That's what I'm meaning to say. So this is about that focus and that mission, and what are you here to do? What way are you serving humanity, the collective? And this, sometimes if you are on a twin flame journey, each one has their own individual mission, and then you have your joint mission. So it could be that you're being called to help people in a certain way, totally independent of what the other person might be doing. The Magician in reverse, that energy is about feeling like you're kind of being overlooked. Your gifts are not being maybe taken advantage of in a good way. And you kind of feel like maybe you're being just kind of like unappreciated and taken for granted. Then when we have our Six of Swords in the reverse, this is like this resisting positive change and kind of not wanting to move on. So there's a little bit of that sense of not wanting to move on, but not really feeling like your gifts are fully being appreciated. So there's a little bit of that dynamic of finding it maybe hard to let go of things, even if they're not really serving you. This is something you may have been focusing on this a little bit during the full moon. So we did have the Sagittarius full moon. And as a reminder, full moons are about releasing what's no longer serving you. And I think I talked about this before, sometime I think in the last week. Remember that when we talk about releasing things that are no longer serving you, remember full moons come up, roughly every month. And so it's not about necessarily saying, oh, this time I'm releasing everything that's not serving me. My best life starts tomorrow. Because it's a process. So especially if it's certain thought patterns that you have, if it's underlying wounds or trauma, issues of feeling like you're not good enough, you're not deserving enough. When we talk about releasing what's no longer serving you and releasing that negativity, it's not boom, all of a sudden it's done. Oftentimes that it's a slow process. And healing and growth on this journey, it's not the straight line that, oh, I've decided to heal, therefore it's just going to go up and up and up, and I will never have any hiccups. It's more of like one of these things. Generally, you should be trending, hopefully you're trending in the direction of feeling like you're healing and growing, but you're going to have days that are down. You might feel like you're going through the same lessons over and over. So almost imagining a spiral staircase that's going up, that there are going to be times where you go back around, but you're still slightly higher than you were before. So that's what we mean when we're talking about like releasing what's no longer serving you, is starting to let go of some of that. All right, let's start today with our fire signs. That is going to be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. What challenge are the fire signs coming up against? What is it that they feel like they're having a hard time letting go of, even though it's leaving them feeling unappreciated? The Hierophant. So the Hierophant, oftentimes this is marriage. It's traditional structures. This card will symbolize marriage. So for some of the fire signs that are listening, they're having a really hard time letting go of a marriage where they're not feeling like they're heard. They feel like they're being overlooked, unappreciated, that their gifts and talents are being taken for granted. in the context of a relationship, because like sometimes that makes more sense at work. You know, if you are fantastic at doing XYZ process and, you know, you take care of it for the whole team and they just kind of naturally, oh yeah, well, you know, that's done every day. They're not appreciating that you're doing it. It's just nobody's paying attention because the place hasn't come to a screeching halt because you have decided not to do it. But it's just kind of like, yeah, everything runs smoothly. From a relationship standpoint, this is usually kind of in the context of somebody else is being overly controlling. Everything's on their terms. They're not seeing you as a soul that is wanting to grow and expand and learn and raise your vibration and go move into your highest alignment. They're not really seeing it like that. It's almost more like that person sees you or sees their spouse or partner as, you know, I want to have a partner. Here's my little box. Oh, yep, that's you. But they're more concerned about themselves. They're not looking at it and seeing how can they help you grow as a person. And so this, you know, this sort of scenario is almost like you're stuck in a marriage that you don't really want to be in. So that's your challenge, is that structure for a lot of the fire signs. So that's going to be in your challenge space. And let's see what else is coming out. And this might be heightened for you because we do have this Three of Pentacles energy. So for those of you who are on a twin flame journey, if you're married to somebody other than your twin, you could be feeling this draw, this pull of, but I feel like I have a bigger life purpose and a bigger mission that is not within this structure, that's not within that, you know, relationship. And so it's kind of, it's putting the focus on the fact that you don't really feel appreciated and, you know, but you're finding it hard to make decisions there. Interesting. So the card that came out for you is the Hierophant in reverse. So that's the energy that's pushing in on you for today. Anytime we have a doubling up like this is definitely a sign for you. The push, or I guess the kind of advice from Spirit, like the energy that's coming in for you, is breaking free. That's what the Hierophant in reverse is. It's about breaking free of traditional structures. It's about thinking outside of the box. It's about, how do I live a life true to me, not the life that everybody else or society says that I should. So that's what that energy is for fire signs, is breaking free from that. All right. Do not be frustrated. Let go and feel peaceful. That, you know, and that as it relates to this situation, if you're feeling like you want to move, but you can't, but, you know, that feeling of being stuck is a very frustrating feeling. So if you let go of that sense of, I'm stuck, and just kind of let yourself float, let yourself be, that might help to get the ego mind out of the equation a little bit more. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. And sometimes that's a matter of, you know, it's too much. It's too much overwhelm, and you need to be able to sit in your space on your own and figure out, what does that look like for me? If I'm trying to break free of some sort of traditional structure, you know, if it is a marriage, if I am not feeling like that's the right place for me, what is it that I need to do? And then we have Mawu. Mother Earth, you are called upon to help with environmentalism. I always pull another card. So this, I would say this is more of that push to get out in nature and connect with nature, something much, much bigger than yourself. And it kind of helps take the intensity of, but what if I do this? What if I make the wrong decision? You know, just if you're within nature, sometimes that will help. And then Unag. Easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. So that's kind of that energy of, you know, just allow yourself to flow. Stop trying to hold on to things that you don't need to hold on to anymore. Stop trying to control the flow. Just let things unfold and let yourself be drawn towards peace and love and happiness. All right, let's move on to our earth signs and see what is the challenge for our earth signs. 3 of Cups in reverse. So your challenge is that sense of loneliness and reclusiveness. And it also has to do with overindulgence. So if you are somebody who, maybe when they get sad, they eat a lot or they drink or there's drugs involved. This is kind of that sense of that's your challenge, is when you get lonely, what do you do? What do you maybe overindulge in to try to take care of that lonely feeling, when really you need to kind of work on your inner healing as opposed to looking outside of yourself. And then this card, the World in reverse. So this is your major arcana card, and that is about holding on to something and not learning the lesson. So this is kind of going with the 6 of Swords in reverse energy, about clinging to the past. And so, feeling like you're stuck in a rut, but it's like there's a lesson that needs to be learned that you're not really wanting to learn is part of the problem. Even though you're not happy and you feel like your gifts are being overlooked or your contributions are being overlooked, it's kind of like you're not learning from the past and able to like feel at peace, because your challenge here is this feeling of loneliness and reclusiveness. Free will, get out of your cocoon. This is that reminder that everybody has free will, and you don't have to stay. Like if you're feeling stuck in a rut and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You don't have to stay. You can leave. And when people say, oh, I really can't, most of the time when people say I can't do something, it's not that they can't. Like in the overwhelming majority of the time, it's not that they can't, it's that they don't personally find the consequences of their choice to be acceptable. So I could go rob a bank. I'm not going to, though, because I don't want to go to jail. And personally, I think it's wrong. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't do it. So just like when people say, I can't leave this relationship, does somebody have a gun to your head? Or, which if they do, that's a whole different set of problems. But usually it's just that people don't want to, because there's a couple cards there. They don't want to deal with the consequences of what that means, like the ramifications of what that means. Romantic feelings. Your romantic feelings are real and worth exploring. If things, if you're feeling this challenge of things are lonely and you're not feeling fulfilled, know that when it's saying that they're worth exploring, you shouldn't feel like your life is totally cut off, like your heart chakra is totally cut off. So if your situation right now is leaving you feeling like that, that could be the indicator to you that that's not the right place for you, that you're not in that highest alignment for yourself. And then Aracura, blossoming. You are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up. And this is about that reminder of, as you start to work on, like, what does this mean? So if you're holding on to something because you feel like, oh my gosh, this would just be the end of the world for me if something changes, this blossoming is, maybe this is just the beginning of something. So that's the end of a chapter, but that's not the end of your book. There's still more chapters, and there's other things that want to come in for you, other happiness. So that is the message for our earth signs. Now let's see with water signs, what is the challenge for our water signs? What is this situation that they're feeling kind of overlooked? Water signs. Whew, the Tower is your challenge. This situation is falling apart. This Tower, this is that energy, the challenge. With the challenge being the Tower, that means that something is needing to change, and the challenge is letting it happen. If you're clinging to the past and stuck in a rut, then there's that tendency to try to keep things going as long as they can. And the challenge is the Tower, because, you know, sometimes that's what's needed to kind of level things out and give you a fresh new start. The card that came in, this is the Star in reverse, is kind of that sense of pessimism. Like, I don't really know, you know, what to do, or I don't really know what direction this is going. With the Tower being in the challenge space, it can also be a matter of you're clinging to a certain situation because you don't know what life looks like without that situation. And having that faith and trust in the divine that there's something better out there, even if you can't see it, that's something that's really, really important. You know, and one of the examples, and I liked it, was if, you know, say you're up in Chicago and you want to drive to Austin, you don't have to be able to see Austin. You know that it's south of where you are, so you know kind of generally the direction, but you don't have to be able to see Austin to be able to start moving in that direction. And so it's kind of the same. Even if you don't know exactly where your life is going to take you, if it's not working, not making you happy, you know where you don't want to be. So at least moving away from that can kind of help give you that clarity as to where you do want to go. And it'll help you find the path. So finding the path, you are the driver and the navigator. And I love it because this green is really matching up with this green in this. So, you know, you're the one that's in charge of where you're going. And don't let that overwhelm you. Sometimes that might be like, oh my gosh, but then I have to figure this all out on my own. Instead of saying I have to figure it all out on my own, you can say I get to figure it out for myself. That you get to be in charge of what direction your life is going. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So this is kind of that optimism of if this situation that you feel stuck in and unappreciated is a romantic situation, there's a new love that's coming in. And this could, for some of you, this could be, you know, a twin flame coming in, having that feeling of collaboration, that feeling of teamwork. That could be really, really helpful for some of you if you've kind of felt like you're on your own and kind of felt lonely. All right. And last card for you. Ostara, fertility. It is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. And this is going along with what I was saying in terms of you don't have to be able to see your final destination to be able to start making steps toward, or taking the steps towards making yourself happier and having a future that's exciting and something you look forward to every day, as opposed to feeling that stuck in the rut. Ugh, okay, another day of being overlooked or unappreciated. So that is the message that is coming through for our water signs. And last but not least, we have our air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's take a look and see what is the challenge for our air signs as it relates to this situation that you kind of feel stuck in and not appreciated. What is the challenge there? The challenge there is 10 of Cups in reverse. So the challenge is that you know that this doesn't feel like this is your happy place. The situation as it is not what you want it to be, but you're clinging to it. And the big question to ask yourself is why? Why are you clinging to something that doesn't feel good? The 10 of Cups in reverse is that sense of, you know, like trouble at home. It has to also do with separation. So the challenge is it may take a little bit of separation, whether that's physical distance or, you know, maybe the challenge is energetic or emotional distance, and it doesn't feel good. So let's pull some other cards and see what else is coming through. The Devil. So you have this devil energy pushing down on you, and that's going to be whatever is keeping you off your life path. So for some of you, if you're feeling like this doesn't feel good, but you just can't, I guess, bring yourself to change it, like you feel like you're being kind of overlooked and not really appreciated, but you are struggling with trying to change that, there's also a sense of what self-doubt is creeping up. Like, what makes you think that you don't deserve to be appreciated? What makes you think that you don't deserve to have all of your talents and contributions and skills recognized? So that's probably pointing to some sort of deeper wounding that needs to be healed. And then we have listen to advice. Guidance is needed to cross the ocean of life. And we've got the purples in here. You might be needing some advice on how to break free from some of that devil energy. And the devil energy is also what keeps you looping. So if you've been looping for a long time through a certain situation, whether it's work, whether it's romantic relationships, you might need some outside help, whether that's a friend or a counselor or therapist, some sort of a guide, guru, to be able to help like break free and see things in a different light. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Not only does it make you more romantically attractive, but that's, when we talk about unconditional love, especially for people in a twin flame connection, a lot of times the divine feminine is good at being able to express unconditional love for the divine masculine, but not for themselves. And that's really what the awakening journey, what the awakening process is about, is how do you take that energy and give it to yourself first? How do you make sure that your needs are being met? How do you make sure that you are on your path for ascension and, the best alignment for your soul? Oh, this one kind of jumped there. Green Taurus, start delegating. And I'll pull one since that was a jumper card. Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. So that's one of them. And then the card I pulled was Butterfly Maiden, transformation. You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. So know that even if it seems like things are stagnant, there's a lot of change happening. Those seem to be calling out to me that they go together as well. Like start delegating some of this, like listen to advice and, loving yourself first sometimes is delegating certain things to other people and not trying to do it all yourself. But it's like you've been doing more healing than you realize. And, like I was saying at the beginning, it's not like, oh, it's this constant path. Once you start healing, I'm getting better, 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 better. You're going to have days where you go up and down. And so make sure that you're honoring yourself and listening to yourself and being kind to yourself about all of the progress that you've made, and just kind of continue working on that transformation and putting self-love as the centerpiece there, because you can always, with this one, in terms of the appreciation, you can always appreciate yourself. You are in the best position to know what your intentions are, what it is that you bring to the table. So make sure that you're loving yourself first and honoring everything that you do for those around you and for yourself. So I hope that you found today's message to be helpful, but as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.